Hey everybody, I'm Adam. I'm an artist. That's Mother Fluffer. This is our first day outside. We're trying out this harness. So far, so good. Let's go draw some stuff. Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. I'm AC. This is AC Draw Stuff. I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. So a lot of you know, if you follow me on Instagram and here, that I love the 80s, and I do a 3D glasses series where I throw 3D glasses on characters from the 80s and 90s. And it's kind of my thing, and I have slowly kind of been going through Muppets and Sesame Street characters for some reason. I love drawing animals, and they're kind of like a popular version of animals, even though some of them I have no idea. I'm doing Elmo in this video. I have no idea what Elmo is, like what breed or creature he is. Maybe he's not one. Maybe he's his own thing. But Elmo is arguably, or has become, the most popular Sesame Street character. Big Bird, when I was growing up in the 80s, it was Big Bird. Followed closely probably by Cookie Monster and Oscar the Grouch and a couple others, but Grover maybe. You know, they're all in there, Bert and Ernie. But Elmo's become really popular. So I've got my very first convention, I guess you would say. I'm tabling at my very first convention in July here in Illinois, in a suburb outside Chicago, and I wanted to have a bunch of stuff there for people to buy and take home with them. So sketch cards are a really good way of keeping the price down, but also having an abundance of something. So I'm starting a bunch of sketch cards for that. It's not a convention. What would you call it? I don't know. It's a very small, I think, associated with the library organization, but it's my first time tabling somewhere, kind of, at least with my art. I've done it once or twice with my toy design stuff, but I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, I wanted to have a bunch of stuff. This is my first sketch card in a long time. I did a whole bunch of them with Mooj and Egoom before I got Mother Fluffer, and you saw her in the beginning of the video. We just got her a leash and a harness, and she's only got 3 legs, so it's kind of tricky to keep her in it, but she sticks with us, and that was the first time we took her out that you saw there. So here with the sketch card, I finished the rough pencils, and now I'm doing kind of the rough inks as well. I just use a mechanical pencil, and I'm using my Pigma Micron inks. The sketch cards, I bought them at Michael's. You can buy a pack of, I think I got a pack of 20 for like $5 or something like that, and they're the size of, a trading card. I loved Garbage Pail Kids cards when I was growing up. They're still my favorite 80s thing to come out of the 80s, and I have so many toys and action figures and stuff from the 80s that I love. So I think these sketch cards are perfect. They're right in my wheelhouse. There's something that you could get a bunch of from me and collect them all, I guess. So I don't know who else I'm going to do, but I'm definitely going to do probably at least 10 or 20, hopefully closer to 20 for the show. This is, with the inks, it's one of those things where you're working on such a small canvas, and it's really hard sometimes. You would think, oh, well, then you're drawing less, so it would be easier. But it's actually a little bit harder than when you have a larger canvas, at least for me, because you got to make sure that what you pack into that image is intentional. Hey buddy, is this Fluff's first time outside? Let's see if she likes it. Do you like it even? Do you like it even? You looking at the birds? Buddy, you're taking good care of her, bud. You watching over her? You're doing a good job. And that was Egoom watching over his sister. He was doing that the whole time that we were out there. So you don't want to waste, space, but you also want to make sure that, the image that you're depicting gets the point across of who the character is or what it is. That's why Garbage Pail Kids are so great. They depicted a scene, basically with this character, this really oddball character. So here I'm starting with the colors, and I'm using my trusty Copic sketch markers. I love these things, and I'm learning. There are some amazing just wizards out there who use Copic sketch markers and just markers in general, marker art, and the layering that they get. And it's just, I'm learning, and that's what this channel is all about, is sharing what I learn. And these markers are very similar. I want to kind of lean away when you're doing highlights with markers. I want to kind of lean away from using my gel pens, my white gel pens, to highlight something, and start doing what you do with watercolors, where you start light and you leave blank space and blank white areas for the lighter side of stuff, the light, where the light is coming from, the light angle, and then you just keep shading and layering and layering. And when you do that, you get such a rich image and final product coming out of it. But it's hard because sometimes you want to jump right into like this color, that color, that color, and then thinking in the back of my head, I can always come back and add white highlight to things. But sometimes just white highlight doesn't get the point across of what, where the light source is coming from or what you're trying to depict. You can always make stuff darker, but you don't want things too dark. And I love colors. I love bright colors. I'm an 80s kid. The 80s were, all about just bright colors, and every color. So I love images and drawings and stuff that use as many colors as possible. But you got to keep in mind when you're adding those colors that there are different shades and different values of any one color. And the more you use, the better things look. And I like to start with a lighter palette anyway, so that I can kind of, build onto it. And then here I've got my Tombow markers. This is my grayscale set. I love these things. They're so great for shading. You can shade with a color, so you can shade red with a darker red, or you can shade with grays and blacks. And I like to do both. And I will admit it's easier to shade with the grayscale markers, because you can just say there's shade, and you mark it with a darker, gray or black. It's harder to see and use the values of one color and the different shades of one color when you're shading. It's harder to do that. So that's something that I'm definitely building up to. And also, I don't have a huge array of markers and colors, so I just can't afford them right now. So I use what I have, and if I don't have it, I use something else. But there's always a way to find, there's always a way around stuff and figure out what you want to do. The Kurt Cobain effect.
What is it, Fluff? Is it so crazy? Good job. Very good girl.
So there, I told you, or I mentioned, and you all know watching the channel, Fluff only has 3 legs. She's missing her front right. So that was her kind of just wobbling around on the steps. I was trying to keep her in one place so that she didn't, until she got used to that. But she did well, and she actually really liked it. I know she was intimidated by it, but she loves going out on our back porch when we have like our sunny day. We'll go out there and eat something or hang out. She loves it. So I thought, why not try the harness? So the Kurt Cobain effect is just Kurt Cobain notoriously played with the crappiest instruments he could find, even though he had some great instruments. And he always said, it's what you play and how you play it, instead of what you're playing, like the instrument. So I think that applies in all art forms. So here, like I said, I'm using my gel pen, my Jelly Roll. That's a number 5. I used to hate this number 5 because it was so small, and you see me touching it on my finger there to kind of keep it going, because sometimes because it's so small, it stops. It stops working, so you gotta like keep it rolling. And I added the highlight where I thought the hairs on his body would stick out the most. You saw me paint the Sesame the Sesame Street sign. Wow. Black there because I screwed up. I spelled Sesame wrong, so I blacked it out, but I'm going to come back and fix that. And here I'm just making some highlights where I think, they would stick out the furthest and catch the light. And then I'm going back with my thicker, I think this is the number 1 or 3 Pigma ink, Micron. I love the bold outline. Maybe not around every line that you already drew. You don't want to re-ink it. But around the body, just to make it stand out and say, this is the centerpiece. This is what this picture is about. It's about Elmo. Yeah, those are fun steps, and I love drawing lights and lanterns, and the Sesame Street sign is great. But Elmo is the star of this picture. For me, arguably, I could argue that the 3D glasses are the star of this piece, but it's Elmo. So I wanted to come back and just make him pop a little bit, because I added shade behind him. Now here I'm signing it. I haven't finished the sign, and I did that with acrylic paint, white or green over white, and it worked. And then I wrote Sesame Street, and that's it. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. I really appreciate it. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out my Patreon or buy something from me in my shop, or commission me for anything. And those links are all below in the description of this video. Until then, make sure you go and draw some stuff. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all. Sit, Muji, sit. Good dog.